All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. You know, it's an attention getter when I look down and I see game notes, because at this time of year, when you're out of it, sometimes when you're in the mix, you look at who's coming next. And obviously I'm aware of the schedule. We have them here on the desk, and I'm very well aware of who's next. But then you look down and you see it, and you go, oh, yeah, they're here Sunday. And it's a picture of Mahomes and Kelsey
and Chris Jones.
And you go, oh yeah, they'll be here on Sunday at 12-1 and two-time defending NFL champions.
Between them, that is 20 Pro Bowl appearances, 2 MVPs, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Let's see, 3, 7, 5, 15 All-Pros.
3 gold jackets.
3 gold jackets, yes. Chris Jones this year is interesting, just doing in my preparation for this year. Only 5 sacks, which is, down from his normal, but he's got 59 pressures, which is the most of any interior lineman in the NFL. So that's why sometimes that's the people who will argue that say, sacks aren't necessarily the greatest indicator of disruption, and that would be an evidence for it. This Chiefs team, and we're going to meet them, so I won't spoil any of the fun stuff now, but there are some insane statistical anomalies about this team. This team being 12-1 is remarkable. How about this? And I won't get into all of them. This is just a Mahomes-specific one. Mahomes has 19 fourth-quarter comebacks in his career in 8 seasons. 5 this year, most in the NFL. He's got 23 game-winning drives in his career, regular season. 7 this year. 7 times they have driven the length of the field to take a go-ahead score and to win a football game. But there's a lot of stuff in here that they are defying. I know people are watching Wicked. People are defying gravity. They are defying logic and traditional football convention with their ability to win these games. Yeah,
there's I was thinking about them, and you think about how hard it is to build something in this league like this. This league is designed for everybody to be to the middle. It's designed for parity. It's designed for a different champion every year. Even more so now than even when you were a kid with the 49ers, obviously, and those teams you got to watch. You could keep your guys if you wanted to. You could keep them, and there was no reason that they would go anywhere. They play their whole career. You could pay all the guys you wanted to pay, and then all of that has changed now. And the idea, I think about our team, and you think about how we're going to be in a transition this offseason in one way or another. You think about the situation down 71 South in Cincinnati, where they were at the precipice. I mean, they had the ball in Burrow's hands in the Super Bowl with a chance to go win it, and they got that close. And they are not getting back, not now. And now they're going to be in a position where they're going to have to really have a pretty massive retooling of that roster. And something that won't be done in one off season at all. And you see this operation, and you think about Kansas City for our lifetimes, and when men were 40. This historically was a franchise that had tremendous fan support, that was always good, never great. Never great. Never was a. I don't know that there were many times in our youth where I looked at them and thought, yeah, go win the Super Bowl, Kansas City. They had some really fun teams. The Joe team was really fun. The Trent
94.
Green, Priest Holmes teams was really fun.
When was Christian Okoye?
That was late 80s, but they were never going to beat one of the NFC teams. They never. I don't even know if they even got to an AFC championship game in that stretch. Maybe Joe got them there once to an AFC championship
game. Joe
did
in 94.
They played against, so 94 would have been against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was 95. 94, the Cowboys beat. No, the Cowboys beat the Steelers. 94 is the Chargers. Did the remember? Stan Humphries.
They lost in the 90 with Montana. Montana played there for 2 years, and they lost they went 11-5. They lost in the conference, the AFC Championship to the Bills
in 93.
30-13. Yep. And then Dallas won, and then Dallas beat the Bills.
Yeah.
And then the next year they lost in the wild card round to the Dolphins 27-17.
Wow.
And that would have been
that's Marino still.
Then, so this says in the wild card round, the Browns beat New England, the Packers beat the Lions,
Belichick over
Chicago. This would have been the Bears, right? 90. The Bears beat Minnesota. So I don't know. I have to get the whole playoff picture.
Well, 94. That's your boy, obviously,
this
against the Chargers.
Yep.
So I don't remember who they would have beat the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game.
So the divisional round was Niners smoked the Bears 44-15.
Yeah.
Steelers, unfortunately, with Neil O'Donnell and a Barry Foster, beat the Browns 29-9. Cowboys smoked the Packers 35-9, and the Chargers beat the Dolphins 21-22.
There's a lot of rooting interest for hoping to get a 49 because the Niners that year were a fait accompli. It was like they're playing for it.
Well, the Cowboys are still pretty good.
But that was Deion.
Yeah, they got Deion. They made all the switches.
They had the drop shadow jerseys. Like Deion was just a whole nother level.
So then the Chargers eke past the Steelers. Niners, Cowboys, 38-28. Niners win, and then the Niners annihilated the hapless Chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, they were, if I recall correctly, and I believe I do, they were something like 13 or 14-point favorites in the Super Bowl.
Oh, it was 2 scores for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that was their Super Bowl was the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And probably, honestly, even the divisional or the conference semifinal game against Green Bay, that would have been Favre, in the early part of his career. But yeah, I do remember like Pittsburgh knocking on the door at that time, and then I remember like that was when the narrative was like, could Marino get one more bite at the apple? No. They had kind of improved the team around him. And I think they eventually make the change. Like eventually, Jimmy Johnson coaches that team.
Yep.
After being dismissed after '94, he's dismissed in. Did he coach the Cowboys in '94? Or was he gone after '93 when they won it? Switzer won it in '95.
Switzer won. Yeah, Switzer won.
Did he win his first year there? Or was that his second year?
I thought he won his first year.
Yeah,
I thought he won his first.
But it wasn't long, and then Jimmy was hired with Miami.
Yes, and then that it unfortunately did not have the happy ending.
No, and it ended in the most absurd way. They were annihilated like 60-17 by the Jaguars.
Yeah.
It was his last game. But I guess the point of it all is...
I was looking for the Chiefs. So this is the original thing that we got to. So Cowboys, he was the head coach. He got hired in '94.
So he was there. He lost.
12-4 first season.
Jimmy didn't lose.
So he lost, right? Lost to the Niners.
Yeah.
And then won the next year. The Chiefs... You and I the Chiefs made one playoff appearance between the years of 1970 and 1971 through 1989. They made one playoff appearance. They lost in the wild card round. They went 10-6 in 1986.
Jeez.
Under the coach Makovich.
John Makovich? The guy who ended up at Texas?
The top passer was Kenny?
Bernie's texting us.
Bill Kenny was the quarterback.
Bernie says you need me on for the Dolphins-Cowboys Jimmy conversation, brothers.
Yeah.
Well, he would have the direct.
He would have the direct. He'd have it pretty good on pretty good authority.
Pretty good authority, what that was.
So then they get Schottenheimer in 89, and they go to the playoffs in 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95.
Yeah.
And again in 97. So they had to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 years there in the postseason. So really through our middle school, high school.
Yes. They were always in the mix.
Middle school, but they were not in the mix prior to that.
No but
mix.
Always in the mix.
Mixless.
Never was a team that you said will go win the Super Bowl ever until, and even with the hiring of Andy Reid, I mean, that's Alex Smith, and then they draft Mahomes.
Well,
Kelsey was already there. And so he was already there, but then they draft Mahomes, and then it just all flips. And now this fan base, which has been around, I mean, you go back to the legend of Alliance, Len Dawson smoking a heater at halftime at the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, and you think about, we okay?
We're on the stream, but we're not on the radio.
Well,
all right, well, good.
So I'll connect.
For the streamers.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah,
Bernie's streaming. How about that?
Bernie's streaming. That's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
So the thing with in regard to Kansas City though is fantastic fan base. Len Dawson, the pride of Alliance, smoking a heater at halftime,
Ripping
fantastic, and then all the way through, and then they stumble into Mahomes, and you stumble into Patrick Mahomes.
You do,
and you go.
We might be on the radio now.
Well, I think they're
In
playing
a
an
commercial.
ad, but we're still on the stream. So what? That's all we can do.
So, by the way, Andy Reid takes over in 2013. The year before, they go 2-14 under Romeo Crennel.
Yeah,
Andy Reid's only missed the playoffs once in his time.
Yeah.
And that year was 2014, and they were 9-7. So Andy Reid goes 11-5, 9-7, 11-5, 12-4, 10-6. I haven't mentioned Mahomes yet. Then Mahomes, 12-4, 12-4, 14-2, 12-5, 14-3, 11-6, and now they've already got 12 this year. So,
holy cow, where's Andy Reid on all-time wins
1,
list?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is his 12th straight winning season. Tomlin's at 17.
Yeah.
This is his 12th straight winning season with the Chiefs. Never had a losing season. And let's be honest about it. You're talking 11-5, 9-7, 11-5, 12-4, 10-6, 12-4 with Alex Smith. That's pretty impressive.
It is. He's also got 270 career wins.
So that,
he's going to get 300.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Easy. He's 66. He's not going anywhere.
No.
Mahomes ain't going anywhere.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, he could track it down.
For sure. Yes, he could.
Man. But, yeah, it's just they land on him. They land on Mahomes.
Yeah.
And now you look down and you go, they've won 2 Super Bowls in a row. They've won 3 as a franchise. They're coming in here on Sunday 12-1.
Here's the other thing. Okay, since Mahomes has been the starter, I know we've talked about this, and I know most people probably know this, but maybe they do not. First year he's a starter, AFC Championship game, loss. Second year, Super Bowl win. Third year, lose Super Bowl. Fourth year, lose in the AFC Championship. Fifth year, win Super Bowl. Sixth year, win Super Bowl. He's only been to the championship game or better.
Every year. The list of quarterbacks who have beaten him in the postseason are Brady and Burrow, and that's it.
That's it. That's the list.
That's the list.
And Brady, ironic, Brady did it twice, right? Brady did it in the postseason.
Yep. His second year, his first year
and then
playing.
in the Super Bowl.
And then
did it in 2 conferences, two different teams.
2 different conferences. He's the only one to get him.
Only
him
one.
and Burrow. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Absolutely is. All right. I
Where
know
are
we're
we
still
at?
on the stream. We're on his phone now, where I think we're sorting out if we're going to get on the radio or not.
Good news. If you were on the stream, you didn't miss a thing.
Yeah,
If you're
great.
on the radio.
Well, if you're on the
you
radio,
joined in
they're
progress.
going, who knows?
Or, you know,
are we
you
on
came
now
back.
on the radio?
You went away for a couple minutes, and then you came back.
Now we're back?
Yeah.
We're back on.
But are we on the air right now?
I
Or
just
are we in
faded
commercial
you right
break?
back in.
Just bring
I'm
it right back
Here we
up.
go.
That's
Welcome
perfect.
back.
So we're on air now.
Yeah.
Great.
Bienvenido.
You missed a hell of a conversation.
You really did.
Some part of it anyway.
Will they be able to download the podcast, Gibbe?
They will be able to hear all of it on the podcast.
There you go.
I believe our QB might be at the podium now, though.
Well,
Is that fact? Do we know that for sure?
if that's a fact, I believe we should listen to him because
He's coming up right now.
All right, there we go.
Perfect.
All right, good job out of Kev. So let's go and we'll listen to Jameis at the podium.
Jameis, did you
You guys are down.
Hard Knocks?
No, I have not seen it yet.
David, did you hear that you were featured pretty prominently in the second episode?
I heard that my babies were featured a lot, so I know they're gonna be happy to see themselves on TV.
James, how important do you think these final 4 games are for you is towards your future, right? Whether it's coming back here or going somewhere else, trying to, establish yourself at the start. These 4 games feel important to you?
Every game that I get an opportunity to go out there and play is important to me. And this game is the most important because it's the next game. And obviously, I want to put on a great performance, just for my career, for this team, and truly be the best I possibly can.
David Njoku might not be able to play in this game, suffered a hamstring injury in Pittsburgh. If David can't play, what does that sort of do to the game plan and your ability to hit a big target like that?
Well, if he can't play, we're definitely going to miss him because he's been dominant in his performances. But Jordan Atkins, just the connection that we have developed since I first got here. He was the main tight end that I was throwing to. And with Blake Whiteheart, him continuing to trend up, I think Tommy Rees is doing an excellent job in that tight end room, so I know they're going to be prepared and ready to go.
What is it about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs where they're able to have sustained success?
I think winning is contagious as well. And when you have a winning culture, you have a great head coach, you got great teammates, great people in the building, I believe it just breeds success.
James, we got to see a little bit last night, the relationship you seem to have formed with Kevin. Saw him a couple of times, talking about having fun and, and things like that. Could you just touch on that relationship and how it's grown since you've gotten here?
Well, I'm just grateful for how poised he is and the way that he's able to lead in kind of in a silent way, but very intentional way is very impressive to me. And I just thank you for his leadership and what he means to this team.
When you got here, Jameis, what kind of expectations did you have of what kind of city Cleveland was like and what the fans were?
Well, I try to come here with no expectations. I think the biggest thing that people warned me about was in his selflessness of just wanting to block, wanting to run every route precisely, wanting to catch every pass that's thrown his way, has allowed him to have a tremendous amount of success. When you are putting in the work and you are doing the discipline work and you're doing also the work that it's not even really required of your job, you're going to get those good results, and that's what he's been doing.
This was a better question for Sunday, but I didn't get the chance to ask it. But how is it that you only targeted him twice in the first half in Pittsburgh?
I believe Pittsburgh did a great job of finding ways to eliminate him throughout the course of the first half, and I believe that we did an even better job of finding ways to get him the ball in the second half. Like, that's called good defense and good adjustments.
How about Chris Jones? Just how good is he? What does he bring to the table? And I think he moves around inside and out.
Yeah, well, we know what it's like to have a superstar defensive player because I sit right by one of the best players in the NFL, so we know that Chris Jones he's gonna play his game. But I believe our offensive line has been doing a tremendous job of protecting me and just blocking and sustaining blocks. And we know that he's a high effort guy and he's a very powerful guy. So we gonna have to bring our hat and have some lead with us. And I trust my guys, especially in the interior and on the exterior, to protect me.
James, what were your biggest takeaways when you went back and watched that Pittsburgh film?
The biggest takeaway was just rhythm in terms of offense. You saw some of the penalties showing up again that were unnecessary. You saw some of the procedural things showing up that we definitely could have limited. And you just saw two teams like slugging it out. And like I said, I believe that for the Cleveland Browns to play the best version of Cleveland Browns football, we have to focus on us playing our best version of football and not what someone else is doing. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, they watched us play a style of football that wasn't our best football, and they just let us play it, and it ended up letting them win.
When you end up having to throw 40-plus times a game, how tough does that make it as a quarterback? I mean, maybe you love it, but it feels like, a balanced attack might help, and you throw it a ton, and obviously opens the door for some mistakes. Is that hard for you?
Well, I think my job is to do whatever's required from the team. I think last game we did a good job of incorporating the run and finding gaps and holes in Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb, finding ways to attack the second level and getting more yards. Efficiently, I believe, like the way that I grew up knowing football, you establish the game with the running game, right? And you work things off of that. And I like playing that style of football, but I'm willing and able to play any style that I'm required to play. But obviously, I think when you're able to possess the ball for a long period of time where you have a mixture of runs and passes, it just makes the congruence of the offense just to be a little bit more effective and efficient.
Jameis, you talked about your relationship with Jerry. Just how is your relationship with him? And I guess David too, just kind of evolved from training camp where maybe you weren't always taking the first team reps with those guys to now where you guys obviously had a lot of chemistry and done a lot of good things.
I think, man, when you have people that are hungry and want the football, you find ways to do that. Like it's like you look at me like, oh, it's the quarterback's job to get the ball. No, it's the offensive coordinator's job. It's the quarterback coach. Like we're all in the process of finding ways to get our most electric guys the football, and I think we do a great job of that. And obviously, Jerry definitely plays his part by studying, by winning his one-on-one matchups, and by getting open. I think like what is a receiver's job? The receiver's job is to get open and catch the ball. And guys like Jerry and David, they get open and they catch the ball.
What would it say about you guys as you're a 3-10 football team, but if you can go out there and beat the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs, what might that do for you or say about you guys as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I believe reality says that we're a 3-10 football team, but I believe we're a good football team when the Cleveland Browns play their best version of football. In Kansas City, they have been beat, right? But they are the reigning champions, and we're gonna hold them up to that standard and give them the utmost respect. But our main focus is going out there and playing our best version of football, not really focusing on what they're doing, because obviously they're showing who they are. I think this will be a great opportunity to show what we're capable of doing and doing that for a consistent time, 4 quarters, if 5, if 6, but just doing it for an extended period of time and finding a way to grit out a win.
Jameis, you and Dustin Hopkins go way back. It's obviously been an up and down season for him so far. Have you guys had a chance maybe just kind of have those heart-to-heart faith talk just about kind of where his career this year has been going?
Yeah, you know, we had a great talk on Thanksgiving because, you know, it's been challenging for Dustin because his family hasn't been able to be with him because his amazing wife has been taking care of Wade and their youngest son back home. So Dustin is a family man, and I think in terms of his schedule, in terms of his preparation, he requires to have his loved ones around him. That's how he functions. So I know that has been definitely challenging him, but he also knows that the responsibility that he has in this building. So I just continue to lift him up and continue to encourage him. Hey, man, like, look who you're doing it for. You are strong and courageous. You are an amazing human being. So don't focus on what you're lacking. And right now he's lacking that love and affection from his family. Just focus on what you have, man. And I know I can't give to you what your wife can give to you, but, man, I love you, and I'm going to be there for you regardless of the circumstances. Appreciate it. All right, thank you.
You're up. All right, there you go. Jameis Winston at the podium. Couple other things as the Browns get set to hit the practice field at 2:05. Some injury updates. David Njoku with a hammy. Joel Bitonio, they will not practice today. A little bit of good news. Cedric Tillman is going to practice a little bit today. And in addition to that good news, Mike Hall Jr. designated for return to practice. So that is something that we were hopeful that potentially that could be something there.
I'm thrilled about this, and I hope that he is back and ready to go, and you can get 4 games out of him. And I would play him a ton.
Yeah.
Just get him as many reps as possible. This game, for example, getting the opportunity to get him work against Creed Humphrey, Joe Tooney, Trey Smith. Trey Smith last year was a Pro Bowl alternate. Tooney and Creed Humphrey both went to the Pro Bowl. Those 3, by the way, their guard, center, right guard, according to Pro Football Focus, have not allowed a single sack this season. So this would be just great learning for him. I hope that he get him out here and then play him as much as you possibly can. Get him as much experience as you can, because you have not had that opportunity so far this year. He's played 4 games. This at least would get him to 8 games. So I'm hopeful that he is good and able to go, and that would be fantastic. Part of me thinks maybe he will be, because we released 2 people off of our roster and haven't added anybody back yet.
Yeah.
So my guess is Miles Harden, the corner, will finally be cleared. We haven't seen the rookie after his injury, and he flashed a lot for you in the preseason and in training camp. And then Mike Hall. So getting 2 of those guys. That's what this period's for. This is Shelby Harris said it perfectly last night on what the players are playing for. And I know we've got that bite. Do you have that at the ready if I pull that up?
Yes, I do. I'm just pulling it back up with all of the things we've been dealing with.
Well,
here
anyway,
today.
Just the opportunity to see these young guys, because these final 4 games are about, what your message that you're trying to send not only to your front office, but to 31 other front offices.
Yeah.
That's really the crux of it. And just let me know when you got it.
All
right, we'll play Shelby right here. This is what Shelby had to say.
You're not just playing for this year, you're playing for next year. You're playing for your life in the league. Teams going to evaluate all that and look and see who you are. If they need to go draft somebody in your position, if they need to let you go and bring somebody else in, I'm just going to be, because it's just the honest truth about it. This is evaluation period. And this is not the time to let down. This is actually time to raise your play to show that you could be the guy, that you are the solution, not part of the problem. This is our NFL livelihoods.
Yeah, I mean, that nails it. That's 100% what it's all about. That was from last night's episode of Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
the in-season Hard Knocks around the AFC North.
There was a little bit more to it, as I basically was saying. This is when an NFL team goes through something like the Cleveland Browns do. The evaluation it's like when you kind of make a balance sheet, right? A credit and a debit.
Sure.
And in this case, it is going to be can be a part of the solution. Was a part of the problem, and you're going to get thrown into 2 buckets. And this is an opportunity, if you want to continue your time here, that you are going to do everything you can, put everything you can on tape to say, no, I can be part of the solution. I can be part of the turnaround. It stinks that we're here. Obviously, it's terrible that this is where we are at this point, but we are, and that's really what's at stake over these final 4.
I think that it's such an it's a really awful place for everybody to be in. When you're eliminated and you're playing out the string in December and you came into with such high expectations, because everything Shelby just said is true. So what you're trying to get out of the team is self-motivation, whatever that is that you can find to be your motivation, find it so that you play hard. From a fan base, you're trying to be entertained as an escape on a Sunday is probably what you're hoping for. You'd like to play spoiler. It still matters around here if you beat Pittsburgh and beat Cincinnati and beat Baltimore.
For sure.
That matters. And for big picture, like you and I were talking about this earlier in the week in terms of figuring out like the Jameis part of it and all of that, quarterback going forward, what's it look like next year, what's it look like in camp, offseason, all of it. There's also like you start future planning in terms of like, okay, how does this forecast into next year?
Yes.
And so there's that part of it too, and it's just kind of a sport nowheresville. It's where it is, with all sorts of different motives pulling depending on your perspective of how you're consuming it.
Yes. So
it's tough. It's tough. It's not easy. This is a really tough spot to be in.
No, it's not fun.
And then you look down and you see these guys and you go, okay, well,
I want that.
And honestly,
I want this. This is what I want. This is what
everybody in the league wants. And honestly, this and what happened in Cincinnati with Burrow was when you looked at the AFC, when you realized, okay, we've got to find a way to be elite at quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what we have to find a way to be. Otherwise, we're just on a treadmill to nowheresville forever.
Yep.
And that's what led to the Watson deal, was we've got to find an elite quarterback, and he was available and elite. And that's what led to all of that. And that's how you're in the spot that you're in, which is now the spot you're going to have to find a way to transition out of. A couple other things from a roster standpoint. Dustin Hopkins, coach, and we'll play coach at 2 o'clock. Dustin Hopkins is our kicker, but we are working through some things. So they brought in a kicker yesterday, so we'll see what that means for the roster going forward. All right, coming up next, we're going to play some more of those Hard Knocks clips from last night. I saw one of the most awkward video exchanges that I've ever seen regarding NFL greats. And we have a response to that today.
Favre's
so we'll get into
thread.
that. Yep, we'll get into that. We're off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more. You get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Look, Inside Carolina is reporting this. They got 140,000 followers. On3 has picked it up, and they're a recruiting site, college football recruiting site. They're reporting it, that North Carolina is finalizing a deal to land Bill Belichick as its next football coach. Now, none of the NFL guys are reporting it. You feel like whether it be Wickersham or one of those Boston-based guys, or if it would be, obviously it'd be Schefter, one of those type of people would report it. But this is a legitimate source, and On3 is a legitimate source, and they're both reporting that Bill Belichick is going to agree to become. But it's not being recorded by any of the NFL people at this moment,
and it's been
out there for 22 minutes,
which makes it very
strange. So people are trying to confirm it. My guess is, knowing a little bit about how this works, is it's been reported. Now people are trying to confirm it. Schefter and all those guys are trying to confirm it. Rappaport, all of them.
Don't you think doesn't he go on with McAfee?
He did that Monday.
Yeah, don't you think McAfee would have it?
Well, yeah, you would think. Yeah.
Interesting. It would still shock me unless that just feels like he thought he had no chance of coaching the NFL and he wants to prove to somebody that he can do it at the college level. But why would you go there? You can't build a winner.
Aren't any other. There's nothing else open right now.
He's Bill Belichick.
He is. It's a beautiful campus. Have you been there, Chapel Hill? You've been to Chapel Hill?
He probably
I know
loves
you.
it.
Yeah, I hate it.
I know you hate it, but
yeah,
it's a pretty campus.
It is it's beautiful,
and a lot of people.
Even the Dean Dome is.
Yeah.
Like you walk in, you're like, oh,
yeah,
wow, okay.
It's really cool, and a lot of people have always thought it was a sleeping giant, but at 72 years of age, when your grand plan is to do what's been done in college football for the last 20 years, with an there must be somebody with an NIL that told him that they're going to give him a lot of money to go get players, because what he's trying to do is what's being done everywhere. I see no scenario how this works much better than Urban at Jacksonville. Truly. I don't understand how this would be a fit at all.
You're replacing
Mac,
a 75-year-old with a 72-year-old?
Yeah.
Basically?
Right.
I don't know how old Mac is, but
he's in the same vicinity. And remember, like it was...
He was 72. Or
Mac
73. One of them. How old's Belichick?
72.
Then Mac was 73.
Okay.
Because I just saw that.
And you know what happens in recruiting, and they're like, why would you go somewhere? This guy's not going to be here for your whole career. Like, how long could he possibly coach at North Carolina?
The players aren't even there for their whole careers.
No, they're for a year. Like, why would you sign up for this?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Again, nothing from the NFL on it. Like, none of the NFL guys are reporting it. Our internet's really slow at the moment, so
I
don't know what's going on. But
wait, is your internet slow?
Oh yeah.
Well, that would explain maybe why.
Oh yeah, it's I'm on my
disconnected.
I'm on my
twice.
cellular, trying to get locked in. So I don't know what's going on. That's pretty good from Josh. He says, "What if Michael Jordan is the NIL guy for North Carolina? Maybe Jordan's like, here's $200 million. Go get me a football championship."
That'd be
That's
pretty
what
cool.
it would take. It would take that. It's pretty good out of Josh. I mean, they got guys. They've got people there that, I mean, it's a really wealthy school, but, man, they've never put the onus on football before. And in that sport now, it's just money. Do you have the money?
That's all it is.
I don't know kids would even resonate with kids. Like, would they even care?
Dion, you think, was able to resonate because he was a player and he's
Coach
Dion.
Prime, man, and he's not 72 years old.
Yeah.
You know? And it also didn't help that he brought Travis Hunter and his kid.
Yeah.
He brought two guys who are going to go in the top 5 in the NFL draft with him.
Yep.
That helps.
By the way, Aaron Rodgers on McAfee today said that he really hates how people go on ESPN these days and try to make things all about them.
He's trolling, right, when he does that? All right. So the other thing that I wanted
It's hard to know
that we teased here, and we'll keep an eye on this if there's more. You had heard of this exchange that has now gone viral today of Brett Favre and Mark Gastineau. You just watched it in the break.
I
For
did.
those who don't know and don't remember this, Michael Strahan was tracking down the single-season all-time sack single-season record. He's in the last game of the season at Green Bay.
Yes.
The game is in hand.
Yes.
Brett Favre does a play-action rollout and just falls to the ground, and Strahan lands on him. And that's the record breaker.
Yes.
So the record was tied. That was the record breaker. The record holder was Mark Gastineau.
Correct.
Of the New York Jets. When you hear them talk about sack exchange, that was him.
And Klecko.
That's what it
and
was all about.
Klecko's in. Klecko just got in.
Klecko got in. He got in
should
with
get
Hoff.
in. Gastineau should get in.
So
he had like 3 monster seasons.
Yes. So
Favre, so basically for those who haven't seen it, they're at a memorabilia show together.
Yeah.
Favre goes up to shake his hand. Gastineau refuses to shake his hand. Favre actually, I thought, handled it pretty calmly.
He's handled very little right.
This he actually did.
Postseason, but post-career, but this he did. Yeah.
He did. And Gastineau's like, you hurt me, basically implying.
It's awkward to watch.
It's awkward to watch. So Favre takes to social media last night at 7 p.m. to address this from his standpoint. And I think handled this very well. He said, I want to clear the air on the footage release showing a small dust-up between myself and Mark Gastineau, the former New York Jet. So here's a thread. Back in 2002, when Strahan sacked me at the end of a game that we had wrapped up, I was in no way trying to hurt Mark Gastineau. I was trying to close out a game and squeeze the last bit of fun out of a hard-fought game. I booted out of a run thinking it would be wide open, saw Strahan standing there and ducked down. The game was over. There was no need for me to do anything spectacular. It probably wasn't Michael's best sack or tackle for a loss. In a different game or situation, I would have made a much bigger effort to avoid the sack or tackle for a loss, but at no point was I thinking about hurting Gastineau. Maybe it crossed my mind to help Strahan. I didn't think it through. That wasn't my forte at the time. I just wanted to have fun and compete. In retrospect, I understand how Gastineau feels. We played a brutal game Gastineau played with during an era where guys didn't make generational wealth. I see now how being the sack king would elevate his value at card shows, strengthen his case for the Hall of Fame, increase his demand as a public speaker. I had no way of knowing that then. I realize now that the potential financial implications because football is far more business-oriented than when me or Mark played. There was no malice on my part. Mark was a great player. My understanding he's a great guy and a fun teammate, a guy who played with the kind of joy and passion I tried to mimic. I understand his frustration, but I am not his enemy. A while back, he saw me at a card show and got his frustration off of his chest. It's not the kind of moment that should be filmed and released. Also true. It was a private moment of frustration between two old football warriors. I have a great deal of respect for Mark. I hope one day he joins me in the Hall of Fame. He earned it. Look at his numbers. He clipped 20 sacks twice and 19 in another year. Mark definitely left an indelible mark on the game. I hope this controversy brings attention just how great Mark Gastineau was. He belongs in Canton. Merry Christmas, everyone. Brett.
And I agree with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouldn't have been recorded. Shouldn't be released.
Yep.
And it's a private moment. I wonder who had it all this while, and then.
And it's also the notion that, I remember the play very well.
Yeah.
I also kind of understand what he's saying. Like, I'm not getting away from this guy. This game's over with. I'm just going to make it look easy. Maybe in respect, he lets him tackle in a different way. But Gastineau, 5 straight Pro Bowls, 4 straight All-Pros, 3 first-team All-Pros, was in the defensive top 7 in the Defensive Player of the Year 7 seasons in a row, led the league in sack with 19 and 22 in back-to-back seasons, had another 20-sack season, had a 13.5 sack season, an 11.5 sack season. Yeah, I think you could. When you're his brightness was limited, but in those 5 years, he was as good as anybody. Over a 5-season period, 26, 45, 67, 80. Over a 5-season period, the guy had 80 sacks. I mean, 3 straight first-team All-Pros. Yeah, like it definitely could. I'm guessing it probably is, compared to his teammate, significantly better. 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro. Klecko had 2 double-digit sack seasons.
Did Klecko get in on with veteran committee? Is that how he got in?
Yes. Gastineau should be in.
Yeah. He ought to be in too. So
awkward situation. I get it, but you're not thinking about, oh man, nobody's thinking about that. You're playing the game, and
I do remember there's a lot of conversation at the time that it was preordained that Favre said to Gastineau, I'm going to run this, or said to Strahan, I'm going to run this so you can get it.
Yes.
And that I'll do you the solid.
He seems to say that is.
Here's the thing that you don't and I'm glad Favre actually addressed this, because if Gastineau was the all-time sacks leader, single-season sacks leader, he could put it on a signature.
Yep.
And it would be worth more.
Yep. Fact.
If he's in the Hall of Fame, it's worth more. Astronomically.
We know.
So that's the reality of it, and I'm glad Favre addressed that part.
It is the reality of it, but it's also not his responsibility.
No, it's not. No, it's not his responsibility at all. Can you imagine carrying that around for 20 years if you're Gastineau?
I mean, he
clearly did.
Yeah.
Carried that around.
That's weighty, man.
That's heavy stuff, brother.
Yeah.
That is heavy stuff. Go ahead.
I got more on that story, the UNC Belichick.
Okay. Still nothing from the NFL guys, right?
No, but this is from Inside Carolina and being reported by ABC 11 WTVD down there.
Okay.
UNC's Board of Trustees is working on putting together an emergency meeting to approve Belichick's contract, according to sources. Pending approval, he'll replace Mac Brown, who was dismissed 15 days ago.
I don't know. I don't see it, man. Do you? I mean, it reminds me very much of Urban, and I'm not suggesting he'll spectacularly fail like Urban did in year 1 and be gone. That won't happen. But here's what it is, and this is what the parallel is, and I want to make the distinction. The parallel is I don't think Bill has any idea what college football is now. Based on his comments to McAfee on Monday, I think you can say that absolutely. I don't think he is aware of the up-at-dawn siege that roster building is, and that it doesn't stop. There is not a break. He's not going to be able to go to Nantucket and hang out with his girlfriend. There are no vacations in major college football at the moment. They do not exist.
Nope.
They get 6 days in June, which, by the way, comes out of the most hotly contested recruiting battles you can fight are in June and early July. That's when all the official visits take place now.
And those camps.
All those camps.
And, yeah.
That's you got to be at all that stuff. You are entertaining kids whenever they want. You're on call.
You have to go sit in living rooms.
You are on call. Vrabel told that story about on Bussin' with the Boys, where he said he was at his kid's baseball game, and some recruit was doing like the Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State. He was a Georgia kid. Like, he was doing like a summer tour. Called Vrabel and was like, hey, I'd like to see the facility. And Vrabel had to go down to Ohio Stadium, turn on the lights, get a kid a jersey, do a photo shoot, and then the kid ends up at Georgia. He goes, I knew he was going to go to Georgia, and he ended up at Georgia. You imagine Belichick doing that at 72? Answering to 17-year-olds and their parents?
That's why he doesn't
and their uncles and their agents?
That's why none of this makes any sense
Do you guys understand? Like, every day is a shakedown.
Yes.
It's a shakedown.
Yes.
More on this article. According to sources, UNC followed up on the Zoom interview from last week by meeting with Belichick for an extended period last Thursday in New York City. Cunningham and new school chancellor Lee Roberts made that trip per sources. UNC discussed contract structure and financial details with Belichick, according to sources, along with the potential length of his head coaching tenure and his ideas for assembling a coaching staff.
He'll reach to Saban for that. He'll get anybody who worked for Saban and try to get those guys. And the first thing Saban will tell him is you better have 5 or 6 guys who can recruit like madmen.
Why is he going to?
Why would he do this?
Why would he do this?
I don't know.
That sport is a snake pit at the moment.
Yeah.
And you have no
Don't you
experience
think
for it.
Saban is going to be like, I was as good as there's ever been?
Yeah.
And I was like, to hell with this.
I'm good.
I don't want to deal with this
And he had the apparatus.
All in place.
It was all in place.
The
He had the
machine.
NIL. All of it was ready to go.
And it's Alabama.
And it's Alabama, and it's one class after another, and it's $90 million in television deal versus $30 that the ACC teams are getting. Like, what are you doing?
That's when you say there aren't jobs available. To me, like, there's got to be a school in the SEC that would consider him an upgrade over their current situation.
Do you remember what I talked to you about with Ryan Day, though?
How expensive it is?
Yeah, that's the problem.
But who's making? Like,
So
give me,
University
like,
of
I'm gonna throw
University of Florida. Billy Napier's the head coach at University of Florida. He was going to be fired this year. They got off to a terrible start. Had a good second half of the year. He had one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country. DJ Legway's a true freshman. That's what kept him from being fired last year. The reason he didn't get fired this year, in part, was Legway, but it was also buyout, NIL expenses, recruiting inducements, and then what it would cost to them to hire Lane Kiffin or somebody else to go coach that job. To make a coaching change now, in addition to everything else that is falling at the boosters' feet, is a $50-60 million minimum endeavor.
All right, this is college football Nate
Yeah.
This is ignoramus college football Nate. Like, who's coaching it? Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas.
Ole Miss is Kiffin. Arkansas is Arkansas is a decent one because you would have the same reason that Calipari went there, right? Calipari went there because of Tyson Chicken. I'm not kidding. The CEO of Tyson Chicken
is a booster.
Met Calipari in Vegas and said, "What'll it take?" And Calipari said, well, okay, well, I need this, and then I need my staff.
Then.
So you need to have – so they have Walmart money there too. You have to have that type of incentivized booster who will bankroll the firing of the current coach, the hiring of the new one, and will also bankroll the NIL for every class and the recruiting.
Who's the head coach at Arkansas?
Oh, God, he's a great guy.
Sam Pittman,
great guy.
the G-man.
How much?
Sam Pittman.
Like,
Not
is he
much.
making?
Not much.
So That feels to me that's like way more of a no-brainer.
He's an Arkansas guy, though. But yeah, I suppose that would be the type of place.
Or who's right now at Florida State who had the disastrous?
They don't have any money. Mike
no
Norvell,
money.
yeah,
Okay.
but they were undefeated last year. They don't have any money to do it. It would be a place like Arkansas. That's really the best example.
Oh, I mean,
maybe college football needs not Nicodemus. It didn't take me long to get to
Tyson
Arkansas.
Chicken, baby.
Our good friend, the General John McClain, just reposted that article.
About Mac?
Yeah, yeah.
Or about
Inside
about
Carolina.
Inside Carolina.
So,
I think
I just
everyone
can't
is
believe
seeing
there's-
it, but it's
people
weird
are
that the
starting to-
NFL. It's weird that because clearly Schefter's been calling people for 40 minutes on this, and hasn't gotten anything. Like Glazer, nothing.
Nothing.
Rappaport, Pelissero, nothing.
I feel like this might be one where you're like, I don't want to be the first one here. Maybe I want to just be right on this.
Yeah. Maybe there's still some things that Belichick needs to hear from North Carolina before officially accepting it. But the wheels are obviously in motion, which is just stunning to me. Really is. I mean, jeez. Crazy thing to sign up for. All right, coming up next, we will meet the Kansas City Chiefs. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard to your Cleveland Browns. Go to leaffilter.com/GoBrowns. Schedule your free gutter inspection and to receive your exclusive promo offer. That's leaffilter.com/GoBrowns. Visit today. Time to meet your Kansas City Chiefs, the opponent here on Sunday. They are 12-1 on the season, first in the AFC, first in the NFL. They are the AFC West champions 13 weeks into the season. Andy Reid, pretty robust. 270 and 145. One tie in those 26 years. It's his 12th season in Kansas City. The Chiefs lead the all-time series 15-11-2. Last one 33-29 on September 12th. This is a fun one. That's when we led at half in that game early in the season
Week
out
1.
in Kansas City. Week 1. Yeah, that was a fun game. They are the two-time defending Super Bowl champions. They've won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls. For more perspective, we bring on Dr. Z.
How about the fact that Andy Reid has 270 wins in 26 years?
So, yeah, you're thinking about, I mean, we always thought, we were talking about Belichick, like that he wanted to chase down Hallis. Obviously, if he takes Carolina, he's pushing in the chips on that. Reid might be able to. He's got 12. If you average 13 for the next, if he goes, he's 66. If he coaches till he's 72, 6 more seasons, 12 wins per average.
What's the number he needs to get to?
Isn't it 330?
I mean, right now, you just put him at 10 a year. And if he's better than that, you could get there faster. But
it's Shula, not Hallis, by the way. Shula, not Hallis. No, coaching wins. Come on.
Hey, come on. Anyway, we'll get that for you in just a second. This is a strange team. And what I mean by
Shula
that
is 347.
All right, so he needs
it's out there.
77.
Yeah.
So that's probably 7 or 8 more seasons.
Yeah.
At this type of performance.
6 at 12 would do it, right?
It would be
pretty close.
Shy. You'd still need one more.
One more, yeah.
So the Chiefs, 12-1 on the season. 10 of their wins have come in one-possession games. They are 10-0 in such games. They're 6 straight wins, all of them one-possession games. The Chiefs now have won 15 straight one-possession games, including the playoffs. That's the longest winning streak in one-possession games in NFL history. What's crazy about that is that means that when they lose, they obviously lose by more than that because that's wild. Now, it's 15 straight, so that would be 5 prior to this season, including the playoffs. So they must have won their last 5 one-possession games last year and then 10 this year, and so they've won 15 in a row. That's the longest streak ever. They're 10-0 in one-possession games this season. That's the most such wins in any single season in Kansas City history. They have the worst point differential of any team in NFL history to start 12-1, plus 56. Plus 56. The Chiefs have 4 wins by fewer than 3 points this season. They have 3 such wins in their last 5 games. The most wins in a single season by fewer than 3 points is 5 by the 1989 Packers, who did not make the playoffs that season. Man. They have the lowest average margin of victory of any of the 221 teams in NFL history to win 12 or more games in a season. The lowest average margin of victory of any of the 21 teams to win 12 or more games in a season, and their 221 have done that. So that's wild to me. Mahomes this year, I talked about it earlier, how good he's been when trailing in the fourth quarter this season. He is 5-1. That's the best quarterback win percentage in the NFL. For his career, he's 26-26 in such scenarios. That's the best winning percentage. There's nobody else that's even at 40%. The next best is the Mad Bomber, Darryl LaMonica, at .386. He's at 50%. How about this? Chiefs are 12-1 this year. They have a -4 turnover margin. They have a negative turnover differential, and they are 12-1. Worst turnover margin in a 12-1 or better start since 1940. The only one worse, the only other team that was ever negative was the 1976 Raiders. It's got to be John Madden.
Yeah.
Who went on to win the Super Bowl. They were -6 in turnover differential and won.
Jeez.
The Chiefs are one of only 5 teams in the NFL with 10 or fewer takeaways. Here are the records. Here's the combined win total of the other 4 teams. The other 4 teams are 10-42. The Chiefs are 12-1. The turnover differential for teams with 10 wins this season: Chiefs -4, Lions +8, Eagles +4, Vikings +8, Bills +17, Steelers +17. The Chiefs, who are 5-1 in their last 6 games, have only 2 takeaways in those last 6 games. 10 is tied for the 3rd fewest in the NFL this season. Their defense ranks 28th in takeaways. They are 22nd in turnover margin. They are 25th in sacks. They are 24th in interceptions. And yet, they continue to win. It really is stupefying. Now, Patrick Mahomes has never lost in his career against a team who enter 4 or more games below 500. He is 15-0. So they beat up on everybody. Now, Mahomes is having a bit of a weird season. Now, he's 3-0 all-time against the Browns. These are the fewest total yards, the fewest passing yards per game, and the second fewest points per game of his era as a quarterback in Kansas City. It is his lowest pass yards per attempt, 6.9. His fewest passing yards per game, 245. His worst touchdown to interception ratio, and his worst passer rating since being a starting quarterback. However, there are signs that things are turning around for him. In the first 7 games, he threw 8 touchdowns with 9 interceptions. He did not have a single game without an interception. The last 6, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions for Patrick Mahomes. So how are they doing this?
Before you get to that, how are we doing this? We're doing it on 850 WKNR, ESPN Cleveland, a good Karma brand station.
Just humongous Venus. They're doing it because they're the best third down offense in the NFL. 52% third down conversion rate. That's the best in the league. Mahomes on third down, 67% completions, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 120 rating. So he is first or second in completion percentage, passing yards, passing touchdowns, passer rating, and passing first downs on third down. So that's how they've been doing it. Now, he's been better, as I said, with DeAndre Hopkins. Since Hopkins has gotten here, 68% completions, 260 yards a game, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. So obviously that helps. Kelsey, 52 yards per game this year, fewest of his career. Yards per catch this season, 8.5. That's the lowest of his career. His career average is 12.2, almost 4 yards below that. Oh, Tequila Fila, spectacular.
Looks great.
He has scored every time he has faced the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. His only game here, he had 7 for 99 and 2 touchdowns in 2018. If he catches 1 touchdown, he will pass Tony Gonzalez for the Kansas City franchise record. He would join Antonio Gates as the only tight ends to be a franchise's outright all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And for him to do that at home would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've talked about how they, on the season, 35 sacks, a career high. Mahomes has been sacked 35 times. The majority have come off the edges. And Myles Garrett, as we know, is half a sack away from 100 for his career. But that's who this team is. They've got some very good – they got a great offensive line with Tooney and Humphrey in the middle. Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins in the 7 games with them, 30 for 357 and 4 touchdowns. It's been a lot of Kareem Hunt. Pacheco is back, who was their leading rusher a year ago. And then defensively, they don't have a lot of takeaways, but they're good. Chris Jones is good. Karlaftis is good on the back end. Trent McDuffie was a first-team All-Pro a year ago. They play a lot of dime. They play a lot of middle field open, 2 high safeties, shells, cover 4s, and just keep the ball in front of them. And they just say, we're going to play we're going to wear you down, and when it gets close, we just win. That's what we do, and that's what they've done. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, they just, the last part is the important part. They just win. That's how it goes. They figure it out. Kareem will get a raucous applause here when introduced for Kansas City, or the first time he carries the ball, the first time you see him. He was so wildly popular here. 167 carries, 608, 5 touchdowns for Kareem.
Yeah, so he leads their team in total yards and is second in total touchdowns. He's got 756 total yards, second behind Xavier Worthy, the rookie who's got 6 touchdowns. He's got 5.
Wild. Absolutely wild. When a medical mistake caused you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski from the podium. When we return, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at Jim Beam. This year, choose to celebrate Friendsmas with our good friends at Jim Beam. They want to share a little cheer. Purchase a bottle of any Jim Beam family brands. Receive a $10 rebate to use toward your holiday festivities. Whether getting together with friends or your favorite bar or buying ingredients for cocktails at home or visiting the Jim Beam Friendsmas shop, Jim Beam is here to help you save the best and have the best Friendsmas ever. Visit JimBeamFriendsmasRebate.com to learn more and redeem your $10. Jim Beam, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. And now from the podium, we're presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here is Kevin Stefanski.
Okay, awesome.
You're down 8.5.
Two-time defending champs coming to our place. They have great talent, as everyone knows. They're very well coached. So we have to be about our business. They present a ton of challenges for your offense, for your defense, for your special teams. So there's a lot of things that we need to go to school on the Kansas City Chiefs and really get to work on them, and that's what we'll do. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Yeah, pre-practice report, is there a concern that he might not play on, or is it too early?
I'd say day-to-day, yeah.
Mike Hall being activated to return to practice. How important could these Final Four games be, given you didn't get to play a bunch this year?
Well, I think for any young player, reps are so important. That's your resume, is that tape. So excited if Mike can make it back out there because he's a young player that we'd love to see more of.
How is Sid doing?
Doing better. Expect him to practice some today.
It's fair that the two-time Super Bowl champions would have so much luck in a season.
I think, you make your own luck. They're a good football team. They've won close games. You win close games by putting yourself in position to go make a play here, make a play there that puts you over the top.
Along those lines, they do everything well. But is there something that stands out more than anything for you?
No, I think it's, that group of players, their core with Coach Reed, and they've really played at a high level over these years, and I think they probably know each other really well, just watching their scheme on really all three sides. I think Coach Tube, Spags does a great job. I think they're just really it's a well-designed scheme with a lot of players that have a ton of good experience in those schemes.
They're really good on third down. Is that simply Patrick and Travis? Is it more to it than just that simple? Distilling it down to that simple.
It's probably, in some ways, yes, it's that simple. In other ways, no. It's they have good design in their scheme. They have speed receivers. They have possession receivers. The quarterback does an outstanding job of getting through his progressions, throwing accurate balls. He can extend plays, as we all know. So they present all sorts of challenges.
With a game on the line, is there any quarterback you can think of who, in the history of football, that's better than Mahomes?
I'm probably not the historian to ask, other than to say I know what the numbers say with him and how good he's been, particularly this year in these late games.
You signed Riley Patterson to the practice squad. Mm-hmm. Will Dustin still be, the starting kicker on Sunday? And what was kind of the thought process in bringing in Riley?
Yeah, thought process just bringing in Riley, a guy that we know was in here last year. We'll work through all those type of decisions this week. Don't have a final decision. Dustin's our kicker, but we'll work through all of that.
With Greg Newsom going on IRs, he needs surgery again on that hamstring, or is it just?
I don't believe he needs surgery on the hamstring, no.
Kevin, going back to the kicker, is it something where you're taking a look at maybe Dustin would benefit from having a break?
I think it's all those things we need to just work through. And like I told you guys the other day, Dustin's a guy that I trust. He's a veteran that has been through a lot in his career, and he will work through this. We'll work through this one together.
Chris Jones, such a challenge to match up against?
Physically, just his size, strength, ability to move laterally at that size, the power when he wants to go through the offensive line. He's versatile. They can line him up all over. I remember playing these guys a few years back. He was playing defensive end. Now he's playing some more defensive tackle. But he can line up everywhere. Just a force physically. A very, very disruptive player.
The decision to waive Kadarius Toney? Is that just because of his antics on?
Just normal roster stuff.
Travis this year, what are you seeing on film? Is he as dangerous as in the past?
Yes, yeah. Extremely talented player. Good versus man, has a savviness to his routes, great versus zone, has a really good feel, and obviously a great rapport with the quarterback in how he gets open.
Kansas City's so good in the final 2 minutes of halves, especially the fourth quarter. Is there a way to game plan to keep away from Mahomes and not give him the football last?
I don't know that there's a game plan per se. That's obviously the goal of all these teams late in the game, and we've seen it in the Super Bowl. Even you do your best to score with no time left on the clock, and easier said than done oftentimes. So I think it goes back to how you win these football games in these final 2 minutes, and typically all three sides of the ball play a large part in that.
Left tackle for them. What have what is he? How has he stabilized that position? What have you noticed at him?
Yeah, well, he's a veteran. Has done that, out there, has produced. Obviously, he's injured, so not sure exactly what his status would be going into this game. But they have a bunch of guys that they can play out there. But he's talented.
And Mitchell will move into Greg's spot. What have you seen from Cam? I know he's been out there some for you this year.
Cam's played a good bit for us in the last couple seasons. Very smart player, heady, good in coverage, does a nice job from a physical presence as well, but a guy that really understands all the nuances to our defense.
Lines Miles Harden, you expect him to be activated this week?
Yes. Yeah, would expect him back.
How's Kareem look?
Kareem looks good. Yeah, I mean, Kareem is obviously a person and a player that I have a ton of respect for. He's elite in short yardage, which we've seen firsthand. He's elite in the screen game, which we've seen firsthand. He runs hard. He looks good.
Can you explain why he was not captain?
Yeah, I think. There's always roster decisions that get made for a variety of reasons, but it doesn't change the fact that Kareem was a really important person, a really important part of this football team.
Along those lines, Dante Foreman, he's been inactive quite a few weeks. Mm-hmm. Did he not just fit in, or what's going on?
I'd say it's just a inactive numbers game. Special teams factors into that as well, but no reason other than that, Jeff.
You've mentioned Andy's scheme, and you've been looking at it for a long time.
Yeah.
What do you like best about it?
Well, I think what's interesting when you watch Coach Reed, and I watched a lot of his games early in his career in Philly, and he's evolved so much from 25 years ago, which is a sign of a great coach. And how they scheme up the run game, how they scheme up the pass game, there's beauty in the simplicity of what they do. There's also a lot of really creative ways that they get people open, utilize the run game. Everybody steals the Chiefs' red zone plays because it's always something a little bit different each week. So, but just has done an outstanding job. Doesn't need me to tell everybody how good he is.
Your first year here, you played Kansas City in that divisional playoff game. Seems like a long time ago. Think about everything you and the Browns have been through. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Chiefs still doing it. I mean, what does that say about them, I guess, is my question.
Obviously, since Coach Reed's been there and with Mahomes at quarterback, they've been at the top of this profession. Obviously they've played really well this season, like we talked about, winning these close games. I think that's the fun part for us, to go up against guys that we really respect, guys that we know are at the top of the game right now, and we get an opportunity to go up against them on Sunday.
All right, there you go. Hey, Browns fans, this month's winner of the local business platform presented by Minuteman is Smooth Rider Smoothie. Smooth Rider Smoothie is Northeast Ohio's premier smoothie option, providing a healthy choice for those on the move. Get their brick-and-mortar location in Ohio City today. To learn more, visit clevelandbrowns.community/local business platform.
I love smoothies.
Big smoothie guy.
Huge.
Yeah.
Love a smoothie.
Yeah. And these guys do it right. So
Smooth Rider.
Big fan of all of those things. Yeah. All right, guess the scores. It's coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, Browns fans, enter Huntington Bank Field quicker on game day with Express Access presented by Verizon. Also new this year, select concession stands will offer Express Access presented by Bud Light. Enroll for free. Go to the Tickets tab in the Browns mobile app to learn more. It is week 15 of Guess the Scores with Dr. Z. You ready, baby?
No.
By the way, no NFL people have confirmed the reporting on
crazy.
Belichick.
None.
It's been out there for
By
about
the way,
an hour.
we're I think 6-8 here on this on the guessing of the scores, and the good news is there was a real strong trend early in the year that if I struggled at this, I struggled with scores. That trend's gone.
That's gone.
It's gone.
It's over. Yeah.
We're
scores are layups and
we're crushing it, baby.
All right, baby. You ready?
No.
Thursday night football. Al Michaels, by the way, back for another season. Every year is going to be year to year from here on out for Al, but he's back for another seson next year of Thursday
off to
night.
the side for 60
Why
seconds.
wouldn't he be?
Al,
As it
60
should
seconds.
be. As it should be.
You're darn right.
Yep. Rams at Niners. Rams at Niners.
Man, I wasn't ready for this one at all.
Yeah, I forgot this was the game, to be quite candid.
Yeah, but I'm excited about it now.
It's kind of a
I'm
fun
thrilled.
game, yeah.
I feel like the Rams should be favored, but I just don't think they will be. The Niners are still the Niners at home. I'm going to do Niners minus 2.5.
Got it exactly. Good job to you. Baby. I don't. They still like much how you and I and now last week I bailed on the Niners and the Rams, but all year I think I bet on them more than any.
I stayed with them,
but picked.
The Steelers are my nemesis.
Bailed. They are your nemesis.
I'd be like,
I've always go with them.
I'd be plus 14 from where I am.
Yeah, if not them. Yeah, they're bad.
I have to do it because Gibbe's so pro Steelers. Somebody in this outfit's got to be.
Yeah, you got to have somebody who balances that out. All right, 1:00 Sunday slate. We start with our game. We've got Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn.
We need a Gibby cam. So
we do need a Gibby cam.
Just whenever, so he was just like this.
Did you guys see the? Well, I got to make.
By the way, it Chiefs minus 4.5.
So you get it minus 4.5,
which is crazy. But it's also not crazy.
I mean, they beat everybody close, but like the idea that a 3-10 team is only giving 4.5.
We don't lose close though.
No, we either get slumped or we win. Kind of.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
we haven't won. Get
more
slumped
of the,
a lot.
More of the other.
Yeah. All right. 2-0. Good start for you.
Great
Bengals
start.
at Titans. Bengals at Titans.
Bengals. What was the line? Ooh, hold on. Hold, please.
Yep.
Let me use some information that I think could be beneficial.
What are you looking up?
Aha. Last week they were 5.5 at Dallas, and I think Tennessee, Dallas are similar.
Yep.
I'm going to go Bengals, but a little bit worse. Bengals minus 6.
Bengals minus 5.
What?
Oh.
Why would they be? Why is it
understand
less?
that. I don't know. I think it would have went this way.
That's what I did.
I think you
think
had
I
the right
sound
logic. Yep. All right. Commies at Saints. Commies at Saints.
I think the Saints
no
are
Derek
frisky
Carr
now.
Yeah, but no Derek Carr. Broken wrist.
And who's the other guy? He's out too, isn't he?
I don't know.
No,
the
isn't
guy
it
that
Rattler?
the other quarterback that
Taysom
ran
Hill.
wild.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Got to be Commanders minus 7.
It is. Commanders minus 7 exactly. Good job to you. 3-1. We are in the Sunday slate. Baltimore, gentlemen, at the Giants. Baltimore at the Giants. This is a Drew Lock experience.
Baltimore minus 14.
Got it. Baltimore minus 14.5.
2 scores. And by the way, unlike the Chiefs, because if that were the score for a Chiefs Giants game, you would sprint and support the G-men.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Ravens could hang 60 on them.
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal. That's a bad spot. Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys at Panthers.
Panthers minus 2.5.
Got it exactly.
Wow.
This is a run. What a run out of you.
Holy baby.
I mean, you're going to clinch it. You already got it.
Listen, you can go
Too
south
easy.
and then you
By
get
the way,
too easy.
is this the first time all year Carolina's been favored?
It's the first time in several years Carolina's been favored, in fact.
I
They're
thought
frisky.
they would be, though. They
They should be, yeah. Jets at Jaguars. Jets at Jaguars.
Jets minus 2.5.
It's Jets minus 3.5, so you don't get it. I don't understand that.
That feels big.
Yeah, I think
Mac
it's
Jones.
He's been okay last 2 weeks.
And the
Last week he
Jags
was
won
okay.
last week.
They beat Tennessee 10-6, by the way, in Tennessee, and Tennessee, their line is lower.
Right.
That is,
Doesn't make sense.
No.
All right, Dolphins at Texans. Dolphins at Texans.
Texans
kind of an important game.
This feels like a right on it. Texans minus 3.
Got it exactly.
I think this is also an important game looking ahead to 12-29.
All right, so I'm doing better this week, but I really haven't had to. I haven't had to get anywhere weird yet.
That Dolphins.
No, they're all pretty
game
standard.
Is important because by next week the NFL has to make a decision on Sunday night foosball.
That decision's been made. They took us
the
up Thursday
Dolphins.
night. That decision's been made.
We're not going to be on Sunday Night Football.
No. We're not
No,
gonna be.
but they got to make the call by next week.
They
I
will.
would
Yeah, they
assume that we're moving. We
Yeah,
haven't yet.
I feel
Consider
like
the
that
call
seems
made.
like a lock. Patriots at Cardinals as we kick off the 4:00 slate.
McCarthy.
This is a cruise. Like this year's 6-2, dog. Easy, too easy, drill sergeant. Too easy. I have to make it so you get these exact.
Stop it.
Pats at Cards.
Cards minus 6.5.
Got it. Cards minus 6. Buccaneers.
I thought I got it exactly. You got me excited for a second.
I thought, yeah, almost. Bucks at Chargers. Bucks at Chargers.
Some fun 4:00 games.
Chargers minus 3.
Got it exactly.
Why are they doing this? There are there are 4 afternoon bangers.
Yes, kind of wild. Be good red zone day. Colts.
Get the Bears off Monday night. These Monday night games stink.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'm
Colts.
at 7-2. Is that right?
I think you're 8-2, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to win.
One more.
I
don't have a win yet.
Colts at Broncos. Colts and Donkeys.
Broncos minus 4.
Got it exactly. You're unbelievable.
This is crazy. Last week was so bad.
Unbelievable job, Eddie. This is your all-time best week.
Yeah.
Steelers at Eagles in the 4:00 slate.
Maybe it's late in the season. Maybe I'm dialed. Eagles minus 2.5.
It's Eagles minus 5.
Wow.
Which I do not get. So it's either somebody must know something.
I thought that was going to be 3 or 2.
Yeah, it
So I
should have
went
been.
2.5.
Is that factoring in no Pickens?
He's going to play.
I don't know.
By the way, clearly from Hard Knocks last night, it wasn't that he was mad at Pickens for saying he didn't know who Greg Newsom was. Clearly not.
Clearly not.
No.
Bills at Lions. Bills at Lions. This is game of the year. This is Nance Romo.
It's a shame we don't get to watch any of the others live. I mean,
Yeah, it's weird that they have so many good ones in the afternoon window because Steelers-Eagles feels like a 1:00 Fox to me.
There's not a good, what's a good 1:00
I mean,
game?
how many times this year have Brady...
Dolphins-Texans is the best 1:00 game.
How many times has Brady gone up against Nance Romo? That never happens.
No.
The two A teams both going in the 4:00 window?
I don't get it.
Why would they do this?
I don't know.
This is a mess.
Can they move Monday night games? Yeah.
Yes.
Why didn't they move Bills
They tried
Lions
moving us
to Monday night? Who cares about the Falcons Raiders?
Well, because CBS isn't giving that up. That's probably CBS's.
All right, so move Colts
protected.
Broncos to Monday night, or move Bucks Chargers to Monday night.
Maybe we will get Steelers, Eagles, and Bills Lions.
We will. They're both national.
Maybe Fox. Maybe CBS has the doubleheader, and Fox.
Yeah, they would because
only
they're
has
not
the
going to
late
go
game.
up against Browns. So here locally, you'll probably get them both.
Yeah,
that's great.
But that's ridiculous. That's crazy. That's
a poor use of resources.
Very poor use.
Hold on, where am I at?
You're at Bills Lions.
Lions minus 2.5.
Got it exactly.
10-3. Is that real?
Yeah, it's a beatdown.
Jeez,
just dominance out of you. Your primetime window. Oh God, this is a 2 Monday nighters suck.
Yes,
I don't like that.
I don't mind it. I like it when they go. Are they going same time?
Stand by.
Good question. We'll do Sunday nighter while we're looking that up. Packers at Seahawks. Packers at Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. I'm gonna skip this one. There's too much football going on all day long. I'm not gonna be watching.
Not
this.
waiting
Could have
up all
fantasy
day.
implications though.
I'm already out.
Sorry.
Yep.
Packers.
Do you know the 2 times I've been in the same league since 2001? The 2 times that I picked number 1 overall, I have picked Christian McCaffrey.
He's gotten hurt.
And in both instances, he has been lost for the year. And both instances, I missed the postseason.
You're not angry about it.
Packers -1.5.
Packers -3. Dang it. All right, Monday Night Football. Are they staggered or same?
8 o'clock and 8:30.
I like that.
And both of them at one
Like-
point this morning were both promoting that Buck and Aikman were doing their game.
Buck
So
and
I don't
Aikman's
know if
doing
either one knows
Bears-Vikings.
who's doing what.
All right. Bears at Vikings. Bears at Vikings.
Vikings -7.5.
Got it. Vikings -7. And then finally, Falcons at the Raiders.
Falcons are gutless, but -3.
-5, which seems a lot.
I think that's giving the gutless Falcons way too much credit.
Like if you're the Raiders, if you're Dion, and it feels like he really wants him to play for the Raiders, like what's stopping the Raiders from just hiring Dion
Nothing.
and
Starting the process now.
Yeah.
Like the evaluation and everything.
Yeah, all of it.
I don't think there's anything that's stopping them.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Good job to you. Dominant
you.
display.
Felt really
Dominant.
good.
Yeah, you look great. All right, an absolutely absurd bill. We'll explain coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey, Browns fans, prepare to boost your game day with the Browns Bingo Day presented by Ballybet. On December 15th, Ballybet is giving away over $10,000 in prizes. Play Browns Bingo on the Browns app for free, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. All right, you wanted to go ahead. It's your big story. This is the one you wanted to talk about.
Well,
Ohio
dude,
State
you set it up. Yeah, you set it up.
Ohio State Representative Josh Williams introduced the OHIO Sportsmanship Act Tuesday, which would make planting a flag at the center of Ohio Stadium a fifth-degree felony.
This is embarrassing.
Do you know what prevents flag planting at Ohio Stadium?
I do.
Winning.
And turf.
Well, yeah.
You can't stick a flag in turf.
No.
So
you can,
starts there.
It's a
Even
symbolic
Bake knew
plant.
that. You can't stick it in there. And, yeah, winning stops it as well.
It's embarrassing.
So this
Your
guy's
tax
from
dollars hard at work.
these guys are just wasting time. This guy's
Must
from
have been a Toledo
Sylvania.
grad.
He's from Sylvania.
Yeah,
and that's right on the Ohio-Michigan border. And I'm guessing that's what it's about. But
It
yes,
doesn't matter.
It's
It's
an utter waste of
This
time.
is Ohio State should be like, we want no part of this.
I don't think they do. They wouldn't want any part of this. They're not out there advocating for this. This is some clown. We just mentioned his name on Cleveland Browns Daily.
I forgot it already. I didn't hear it. My ears shut down when you said his name.
That's all it was about. No, they don't want that.
This is outrageous.
I do think that, is Baker the originator?
He did it. Was he the first? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the other part of it is he did it at the Cotton Bowl when they beat Texas, but that's a grass field and it's a neutral site.
Correct.
When he tried doing it at Ohio Stadium, it's turf, and so nothing you can do. But when he did it at the Cotton Bowl, like that's Red River Shootout, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
You're saying he's the first person that you can recall in college football history
He's the first one I could,
to plant a flag?
He's the first one that made me aware of it. I don't remember anybody else going and grabbing like a spirit flag and running around and then sticking it in a field. I'm guessing it's happened, but I don't recall it.
I don't either.
I mean, it's
There were three instances of this on that day.
On the day that the Ohio State-Michigan game?
State-Michigan one. Yeah.
I'm seeing that Baker is credited with being the one to start the trend of flag planting in college football.
7
back
years
in the
ago,
Ohio State game.
Baker Mayfield unwittingly
I think he did
started
it
a
in the
trend.
Texas game too.
Quarterback
first,
who was then playing college football for Oklahoma. This says against the Buckeyes. Went over to the Oklahoma band, grabbed the flag, started waving around. They took one step further. He's not going to plant at the midfield. Oh, is he? Chris Fowler asked on air. Mayfield did, and his act described afterwards as a last-minute decision has today ballooned into the taunt of choice following major road wins, with last weekend proving to be unusually explosive. 4 different flag planting incidents occurred on Saturday as Arizona State, who technically used a pitchfork, Florida, NC State, and Michigan all marked their territory at Arizona, Florida State, North Carolina, and Ohio State, respectively. Mayfield may not have been the first college player to ever plant a flag at midfield, but doing so on primetime television certainly brought the gesture into the limelight.
Yeah, like I said, he's the first one I remember doing it.
Great.
Yeah. I just think it's silly. Honestly, like what the real issue is, I mean, that was an ugly scene at the end of the Ohio State-Michigan game. I remember macing people because an officer fell to the ground. The real issue is coaches got to get their teams off those fields of play. And I'm shocked. Have you guys ever been in a crowd storming?
Like a court storming?
Like a college football or college basketball court storming?
Yes.
High school, yes, not college.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, I've been in several.
God, mass humanity is terrifying.
I've been in one Ohio State when Braxton Miller beat Russell Wilson and Wisconsin on a last-second throw to Devin Smith, Massillon Pride. They stormed on that one. I was there in 12 when they stormed after the Michigan game to finish the undefeated season. It's not great. It's not great. It's pretty nervy. And several basketball ones, too. I remember Ohio State beat number 1 Duke, and they stormed.
Oh, I remember that.
And
I was there.
Were you there for that one? So was LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, LeBron was there for that game.
I heard they were sitting together.
Yeah, him and Braun were sitting next together, along with Ben Roethlisberger. But that was we only had a camera. We only had a camera.
Oh,
Be careful. Careful, Gibby. We're working on the camera.
Just an itch.
They're terrifying, though. It's a massive humanity. It's like that's why they go to such great lengths to like try to keep them off. But what are you going to – you can't stop 50,000 people if they want to come on the field.
No, certainly not.
So the onus has to be on the coaches to get their kids off the field.
By the way, I do think that on our screen here, somewhere, like in the corner, there should be a Gibbe, just a
Gibbe
box
cam?
with Gibbe in it. At all
There
times.
is a camera in here.
Yeah, because there
that
used to be a
Yellowstone
Stevie
set up,
cam.
but I don't know where it even goes or what it's wired to now.
Who was on Malensic? Was Malensic on Stevie cam?
There was a Stevie cam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember I like on when Drennan had All Bets Are Off and Gino was always on the cam. That was always solid. I always liked seeing Gino on there. Good dude.
I wouldn't even mind if you were like right here.
Yeah, just a little. Just Gibbe up there. That would be great.
I'll Gibbe all the time.
Yeah, I did hear from like the guy who's like this. Some speaker put out a statement. He's like, "This isn't going anywhere. We don't have time to even do it." So it's just this guy's getting a lot of attention for it. There's not going to be anything.
He shouldn't. I mean, he should be getting nothing. This needs to backfire. It's not enough to get like attention and then like this is ridiculous.
More from the league meetings down in Dallas. A 13-year extension with Nike to continue as uniform partner. That is a long-term deal, and I don't even know who the other option would be.
Real quick.
Go.
Jonathan Jones,
all right,
who is CBS's NFL insider, says that North Carolina 2 minutes ago was reaching a deal to make Bill Belichick its next head football coach. Sources tell NFL on CBS nothing has been finalized, but there's growing sentiment within UNC the deal is close. Now, don't you think he needs to cite this Inside Carolina that had this hours ago?
Of course, yeah.
Jordan Schultz, 1 minute ago. Talks with UNC and Belichick have continued to progress, and there's significant progress toward the deal getting done. It's getting closer and closer, a source said. That was a minute ago. So now you're starting to see that. Still no Schefter that I've seen or Rappaport.
They did talk about it on SportsCenter as I'm watching it here back in the studio, and they were talking with Paul Feinbaum and just said developing story that they're nearing a deal, but issues remain.
Hopefully,
I go Paul Feinbaum or I can go Nate Feinbaum.
Either one, both locked
here.
in. I don't get it. I don't get it from his perspective, and I honestly don't get it from theirs either.
Schefter, 5 minutes ago. North Carolina is working to try and close a deal with Bill Belichick to make the 6-time Super Bowl champion the Tar Heels coach, but sources told ESPN there's still issues both sides need to work through. So that Schefter actually did tweet out 5 minutes ago.
Finally did, yeah.
So it is not done. And I wonder when something like this leaks in the manner that it has, I wonder why are they trying to...
By the way, to follow up on the league meetings from Dallas, you talked about Nike. This from Tom Pelissero just a few minutes ago, a potential big change. NFL exec Troy Vincent says the competition committee will discuss expanding replay assist to include certain penalties such as face masks. What would the standard be to put down a flag from upstairs? That appetite will have to come from the membership. The competition committee long has opposed, 1, making subjective fouls subject to replay review, and 2, allowing penalties to be called by officials not on the field. This would be both. It is ultimately up to the owners whether they'll support the committee's recommendations.
This is after the Burrow face mask?
Yes, which was documented on Hard Knocks. That's not subjective.
No,
I
that
don't
is
want
not.
somebody up there making a subjective call.
That's not
Was
a
it pass
subject,
interference?
yeah.
Was it roughing the passer?
No.
I don't know.
Face mask is did or not.
Did they grab his face mask? And they did. That's a penalty.
15 yards, let's go.
It cost, I'm trying to remember what game it was earlier this year. A face mask was missed that cost the game.
Yeah, these are easy to get right.
No,
And
that's
we've asked
not
for eye in the
subjective.
sky for years. Like, just solve it quick.
And they do it. And sometimes you're like, this is so great. They did it in our game. There was
In our game,
something
they
that
did it
they
in
were
15 seconds.
Yeah, and you're like,
They
why
quick-
is it this all the time?
Every time. Why do I have to have the guy go over there?
I should
Put
never
on the
be the guy.
headset. No need.
No need.
Lock it up, boys.
Lock it up. No, you lock it up.
NFL will host its first ever game in Berlin in 2025 as well.
Yeah, maybe we can go there.
That'd be a little eerie. I don't know if there's something about
Berlin.
Come out to Grindstone and Berea this Thursday, December 12th, 7 to 8 to hear our coaches show live and meet Corey Bjorquez. He'll be signing autographs throughout the night. Brought to you by Bud Light. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Join Ken and Gerard tonight at 7 on the University Hospital's Cleveland Browns radio network for the Cleveland Browns preview show. Ethan Posick, Andrew Siciliano join the guys as they get you ready for the Browns and the Chiefs on Sunday.
I do have a shout-out.
Go.
The voice of the Guardians, Tom Hamilton, going into baseball's Hall of Fame.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well-deserved.
Yes.
He was a 4-time finalist, got the call. There's a really cool video going around of his very emotional and justifiably
Yeah, he's
so
talking
reaction.
to the media now.
It's awesome. Good
Winning
for
the
him.
Ford C. Frick Award for Excellence in Broadcasting.
Yeah, it's awesome. He deserves it.
So
It's
shout out.
unreal.
He's a great guy. I know when Jim
1
was
minute,
going through
1 minute.
stuff, he made it a point to shout him out numerous times on the broadcast. And
We were
he's a
very
great
lucky
guy,
here.
and his calls are amazing.
Yep. Very
Yeah.
lucky here to have the voices that we've had
Yeah.
through the time. All right, the next level is coming up next. Enjoy your first Friday, kids. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You've been listening. You guys are down. Thank you so much.